Today's Friday, though, so even though it is a beautiful sunny day in New Bedford, Massachusetts, it's time to do a little field trip Friday. By request, this field trip Friday, we will be going to the Dominican Republic. That was a special request put in by some students this week. So today, for Field Trip Fridays, with me, Mr. Green, during these office hours, we will be going to the Dominican Republic. As I go in here, first, just some information from Wikipedia. The Dominican Republic is a country located on the island of Hispaniola in the Greater Antilles Archipelago of the Caribbean region. It occupies the eastern 5/8 of the island, which it shares with the nation of Haiti, making Hispaniola one of only two Caribbean islands, along with Saint Martin, that are shared by two sovereign states. For those of you who think about this, if 5/8 of the island, slightly more than half of the island is the Dominican Republic, how much of the island is Haiti? You can think about that. Put it in the comments. You let me know. The Republic is the second largest Caribbean nation by area at 48,671 square kilometers, and third by population with approximately 10,299,000 people, of whom approximately 3 million live in the metropolitan area of Santo Domingo, the capital city. The native Taino people had inhabited Hispaniola, so they lived in Hispaniola, since the 7th century, dividing it into 5 chiefdoms. Christopher Columbus was the first European to see the island, landing here on December 5th, 1492. The colony of Santo Domingo became the site of the first European settlement in the Americas, the oldest continuously inhabited city, and the first seat of the Spanish colonial rule in the New World. Meanwhile, there's that adverbial there. Meanwhile, France occupied the western third of Hispaniola, naming their colony Saint-Domingue, which became the independent state of Haiti in 1804. So we're learning a little bit about the Republic. We know that 5/8 of the island Hispaniola is in the Dominican Republic, and they're speaking primarily Spanish. And then 3/8 of the island was under French control until 1804, when there was a revolution, and Haiti became its own country, an independent state. Field Trip Fridays. If I have, I made sure to bring my passport. I have my bottle of water because we want to stay hydrated for Field Trip Fridays. You can have some water too. And most importantly, while schools are closed, while this global pandemic is around the world, I made sure to bring my hand sanitizer. So, rub those in, get my hands nice and clean and sanitized. And then I think I also might want to put on some sunglasses because it's going to be kind of warm down in the Dominican Republic. It's closer to the equator. And some stories here. I was thinking first, let's take a look at this Sierra Cafetalera coffee, Slow Food Foundation for Biodiversity, Arc of Taste. Okay, so let's see what this is all about. Welcome to Field Trip Fridays here for office hours. I'm Mr. Green. We're taking a trip to the Dominican Republic, and we're going to discover the Slow Food Arc of Taste, a world of agro-biodiversity to save. Okay. So here's a map of the Dominican Republic. And if the capital, Santo Domingo, is down here on this port, looks like we're going to head west to Sierra de Neiva. Okay. And take a look at this charming vista. Ah, look at this. So we can look out down over the mountains. You can see the how green and lush the landscape is. And this is where they're going to be growing the coffee beans on the hill here. What do you see? First of all, let's take a look at this picture. I'll give you maybe 10 seconds to think about what you see in this picture. How does this look similar to Massachusetts? How does it look different from Massachusetts? Right? In Massachusetts, we have mountains. In the Dominican Republic, they have mountains or hills. It's a little different. Okay. And as we already know, the Dominican Republic stretches over the eastern half of Hispaniola, an island in the Antilles archipelago. Since around 1780, when Spanish colonists introduced coffee to the western region of the country near the Haitian border. Now look at this. This is what we call a sentence fragment. It is missing a part here. I think if we want to fix this, we could say, since around 1780, Spanish colonists have introduced coffee to the western region of the country near the Haitian border. Okay. Coffee production has spread across most of the territory, with the Sierra de Neiba Mountains proving to be one of the most successful production areas. Let's take a look. I wonder what it is about these mountains, the Sierra de Neiba Mountains, that make them so good for growing coffee. Well, they're so good for growing coffee that declared a national park in 1995. The Sierra de Neiba Range lies between two parallel mountain chains that run from 1,700 to 2,300 meters in altitude. So we could say 1,700 to 2,300, or we could say 1,700 to 2,300 meters in altitude, how high the mountains are. The Montagnes Noires and the Trou d'Eau of Haiti. So look at this. We can see the difference between being on the Spanish-speaking side of the island and what was once the French-speaking side of the island, and covers part of the provinces of Elias Pina, San Juan, Independencia, and Bahoruco. The Presidium was founded in Sierra de Neiba among the provinces of Independencia, Bahoruco, and Elias Pina. Now, what do you think all this is in this picture? Looks like fruit or berries. Looks like we have a knife here. These are not just berries, though. These are, in fact, coffee beans. So think, when you're used to seeing coffee like black and hard, it's because they have to roast it. When it comes from the tree, it looks red, and some of them are kind of green, and they're a little softer and squishier to the touch. So look at these coffee beans. In this area, small-scale producers organized into cooperatives, so they work together, cooperatives, cultivate an excellent quality mountain coffee. Varietals of Arabica typica and Caturra are grown in small lots at an altitude above 1,250 meters in sandy and clay-rich soils under the shade of tall trees. The coffee is processed traditionally. After being harvested, so here's all the beans that are harvested. So the beans get harvested, and then they're stripped. They undergo a short period of fermentation, and then they're washed and dried. All production phases are carried out locally on a small scale and without any chemical treatment. So they're doing things the natural way. At the beginning of the 1990s, coffee cultivation was particularly strong in the area. More than 450 families were organized into producer associations and involved full-time in the art of coffee production. So the people are working together in collectives, in cooperatives, in associations. They work together to harvest the beans, they dry them, they wash them. It says in the mid-1990s, however, gradually more than 70% of the families cultivating coffee had to abandon their activities. The abandonment of coffee cultivation can be understood through three phenomena. So there were three reasons that they had to abandon coffee production. Mass emigration to shanty towns around the city, the substitution of coffee crops with pastures and crops that have shorter production cycles, like the yautia, it's a local root vegetable, and the inevitable environmental consequences on the land of deforestation, impoverished soil, and water scarcity. So, interesting. In order to improve the quantity and quality of coffee production, so quantity is how much, quality is how good, it is necessary to look at several crucial elements. Increasing the altitude threshold of the plantations, that means growing up higher, favoring the planting of the indigenous Typica variety and the hardy and productive Caturra variety. So they're growing coffee beans that are from that area, not bringing in other kinds of coffee beans from somewhere else. And introducing tall trees such as the avocado, zapote, guanabana, citrus, and mango. Sierra Cafetelara coffee is produced in the provinces of Independencia, Bajorco, and Elias Pina, Sierra de Neiva. Okay, and so here are some more of those beans. It looks as though maybe they're weighing them here. This looks like a scale. They're trying to figure out the quantity of the beans, how many beans they have. Okay, and so there we have it. So now we know what makes good coffee, what makes high quality coffee.